Magic racing doesn't come around often, but when it does, the allure of seeing how the trick was done can be too inviting. Who said that performing magic could be easy though? Luck, skill, sleight of hand? They all have nothing on the magicians of the Heusinkveld MX-5 World Tour on iRacing Live and the Global SimRacing Channel, as round 5 takes us to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Mosport for short. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Global SimRacing Channel countdown to green in the series that has turned more than the undead in a game of Dungeons and Dragons. I, though, am your leader of the party for this afternoon's coverage, Mr. Hashtag Do You Mind himself and the observer of sim racing, Jake Sperry, rolling Nat 20 whilst casting Magic Missile and adopting a Goblin tribe. In a slight change from last week, it will be the Devon to my Bubba Ray, Sean Crackers Ambrose, joining alongside me over the border, whilst Joe Peak is sat in the production truck pressing buttons to work cameras by the invisible man, Dougie Beard. But Sean, Mosport on paper looks like an easy circuit. 8 of the 10 corners are sweepers and the track has a natural flow. But surely perceptions of this place are wrong, especially when you talk about the massive amount of elevation change.
Yeah, Jake, massive indeed. The Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, or more commonly known as Mosport, located in Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada. And one of the things to point out as we look at the track map is that this 2.5 mile layout that you see on screen, well, that's pretty much how it looked when they opened in 1961. It's a real rarity nowadays that racetracks aren't altered in some form or fashion to adapt to the demands of modern safety. With that said, the majority of these 10 corners are fast sweepers with lots of elevation change. And, well, Jake, that means there's going to be some passing opportunities, but they're going to be at a real premium today. Moss Corner looks like to be the best one on paper, but it really is risky to attempt anything down there. Probably expect some good overtakes happening down into the S's, and when they get off that end ready straight. Now, the real worry for most of these drivers, probably going to be Clayton, turn 2 possibly. Now, that runoff there outside of turn 2 is paved now. Means it's not as dangerous in the real world, but in the iRacing version, you've got all that grass out there. Big party out there. Bring your blankets and your umbrellas, but be careful for those cars sliding off the track down there towards that barrier. That's a real ender. I can guarantee that a few racers will probably end their day there. And we won't be taking a ride around today, but Jake, as we watch the cars get around here, like you talked about, those elevation changes going to be very, very challenging, especially when we talk about braking, like down in the Moss.
Yeah, they certainly will be very challenging. We are pressed for time here today, ladies and gentlemen, so we do apologise at the fact that we are maybe a little bit shorter on proceedings than what we normally would be. We're going to forego the championship standings. We'll try and bring them into play at some stage during the racing action. Round 5, and everybody done in qualifying. So with that said, it's time to go to the Heusinkveld starting grid. Heusinkveld offers a broad array of products and services, including advanced vehicle simulation software and hardware, and sponsors on practically every major team in sim racing today. If you're looking for an edge in racing, get in touch today at heusinkveld.com. Surprises, though, at the front. Brian Holmes, 130.844. He's on the pole, with Sonny Kanchin back after a 2-race absence. He's there in second. Iru Nom will start from third, with, of course, Jason Cooper in 4th position. Leading amateur Anwar Barral Smith will start from 5th, with Dries Nijs 6th. The Gene Fiddis will start from 7th, with Travis Schwenke. Dory is in 8th, with Stephen Van Opstal, the championship leader in amateurs, in 9th, with Marco Derricks rounding out 10.
All right, row 6, Tom Rafty and Boss Slob. 13th place today, going to be Sarah Dove. And right there next to her, Stefan Overgaard. Row 8, Nick Disson and Adam McNally. Row 9, Jeff Williamson and Neil Bamber. Row 10 going to be completed by Robert Witt and Jordan Fike.
Yes, and well, in Blackjack, Bjorn de Forge looking to be a tour of force, but not from 21st. He wouldn't have wanted to be. Ian Sheppers will start then from 22nd, with Joe McDonald and Derek Holland sharing themselves on row 12. Row 13 will see Max Wright and Jeroen Ursum, with the final row being shared by Teddy Clark and the cleanest and most dependable driver when it comes to this league. It's Trip the Arrow Smith. 28 vehicles then, looking to take the challenge here at the circuit of Mosport. Always a flowing circuit, always very difficult to make sure that everything is gotten the way that you expect it to do. Sonny Kachin, a man with a lot of wins, looking to go for 3 straight titles. Irunom looking to try and break that, get his 2nd title. And of course, all the pretenders looking to get a very good race and a victory under their belts this season. Inside line then goes to the driver then with the odd grid positions. That's going to be an advantage into turn number 1. But when it comes to Clayton Corner, they have to be very, very precarious. It's off camber. It's a right-hander. It's down the hill. It's so easy to get wrong, but there's the green lights. And let's get ourselves underway. 29 laps of action. 1 pit stop required through the event. And Brian Holmes with a very good start. Sonny Kachin unable to really argue back too wide in the middle as Anwar Barral-Smith goes at it with Dries Nice. Then looks to try and attack Jason Cooper on the outside, but that's not going to happen into turn number 2. Side by side a little bit behind. That's Travis Schwenke making moves. Gene Fittist losing 1, maybe 2 as Steven Van Opstal on the inside looks to pick up the run into Quebec. All clean though for now here, Sean.
Yeah, Jake, and we've gotten a bit of a break back here. Boss Slob leads the 2nd pack, if you will. Slob running it out into the dirt there. And that's Nick Disson getting by. Neil Bamber coming along, brings Joe Williamson with him too.
And Williamson getting a little bit sideways as they head to the only real braking zone here at Moss. Double apex, up the hill, right-handers, always looking to try and carry as much momentum, and someone has, and that's Gene Fittist, who's run a little bit wide. He's got to be careful about that. That could allow Van Opstal in. Now they head to this Mario Andretti straight. This is arguably the prime overtaking opportunity, though, here today, Sean, because they have the ability to use the toe that they have available. Look at Iru Nom in position number 3. The Bushfink is looking to find his way past the Asbury machine.
Yeah, and several cars here throughout the pack. Jake, all taking a look. Nobody actually making a move there up the Andretti straight. I think they want to try and let things kind of sort themselves out. Somebody wide there. Sonny with a moment there going into the final turn.
Uh-oh, Sonny, and that's checking up the field, and you can see now 3 wide, they're going to try and push it. Look at Dries Nice trying to make some pushes on the outside. Now there's Noah's Ark, 2 wide, 2 deep, as they look to make their way through. Kachin holds on to 2nd, but it all checked up. Gave a bit of a gap to Brian Holmes, which is what he wanted to see. And now suddenly we still got side by side for position number 5 as wide goes Jason Cooper, trying to gather the vehicle back up again. This only allows the youth energy machine of Anwar Barral-Smith to try and attack at the outside. That's not going to work, and it opens the door maybe for Schwenke, who was the winner last time out at Virginia, but is unable to make anything happen. So action-packed start, a start of all starts, you could say there, Sean. But Sonny Kachin with a rare mistake, and fortunately it hasn't cost him.
It hasn't, not yet. You're going to have to avoid another mistake like that. Watching everybody get down into Moss here at speed. A little bumping and banging here at the back of the pack. A couple cars getting hooked up. That's Stefan Overgaard and Robert Witt having a little tangle there out of Moss.
Yeah, and Vita having that bit of a tangle. Jordi Fike now and Teddy Clark looking to try and make some positions as side by side they go a little bit further in front. This is Duke Willemsen looking to attack Neil Bamber. Bambi on the inside, look to go things forward, but look at the lead though, side by side. Sorry to cut away from it because Kachin goes from mistake at the start of the lap to now attacking here. Had to do a double check through the left-hander of turn number 9. He had no opportunity to attack, and look how aggressive, Sean, he is on the exit. He's going to open up that run, get himself to the inside at turn number 1, but I got to make sure that you look at Kachin, make it decisive. Brian Holmes steps into line, Kachin leads.
Sorry about that, Jake. We had a bit of a melee at the back of the pack. Neil Bamber was at the center of that as Robert Witt and Jordi Fike, Bjorn de Forsch all get through there. Bamber gets spun all the way around, able to get the car back going in the right direction real quickly, and he's back into the middle of this fight.
Yep, and that was all Neil Bamber, just losing the rear. Nothing he could do. Innocent bystander there was Duke Willemsen. So Neil Bamber gathers it up together, keeps himself going. That's very, very crucial for his race effort. But look at the pack that they have at the front. It stretches from first, Sonny Kachin, and I put this as a train of 13 at the front, side by side at the back of this pack as Adam McNally looks to get one on Nick Disson, and he'll get himself alongside. They're side by side in front of that as well. That is Steven Van Opstal going at it against Marco Derricks. We don't talk much about Marco Derricks, but he is someone who is massively impressive as a driver, Sean. He's on the outside though, and he's going to lose the position to the leading amateur.
Jake, lots going on here throughout the field. A great battle up front indeed, but man, you get outside the top 10 and real good one going on between Thyssen and McNally. That's a battle for 13th right there.
It is, and that's right on the back of the pack. And just in front of Adam McNally is Sarah, Queen of Scots, Sarah Dove. Big incident we're seeing. That's Arian Shepherd we're hearing getting involved as he gets turned around outside of turn number 9. And that's caused everyone to go 5 or 6 ways. In fact, that was the incident in front. That was Vita and Teddy Clark. And that was just a 2-into-1 doesn't go. Clark shut the door on Robert Vita. Vita went for the move. And in the end, there's the chain reaction that sends 3, 4, 5 into the fence.
Yeah, Teddy... Well, it was Teddy that tried to shut the door on Vita, and it didn't work out, Jake. And so many cars involved in that. Shepherd's, of course, beyond the force. Got a lot of damage on that.
They all did, and that all leaves it pretty much the rear end of this field out of contention for anything, as Jeroen Ursens gained positions, as has Joe McDonald. But now it's a train of 13, a train of 3, and the rest are stragglers at this stage. The train of 3, Stefan Overgaard, Bas Slobjer, Willemsen, they're doing all right, 14th, 15th, 16th, and they're going to be very happy, Sean, that the incidents happen behind them.
Jake, this battle up front for the lead is crazy. Cancian fighting with Holmes there. Holmes giving him all he's got.
I wonder, though, if Holmes is waiting, playing the fuel game with Sonny Cancian. He was the fastest man in practice, or one of the fastest men in practice. He was the fastest man in qualifying as well. I wonder if he's just happy to sit and wait, let Cancian dictate a pace, and just follow in behind it, because Iru Nom currently has dropped himself a few tenths of a second here. Half mini look then through turn number 2 of Clayton's corner. Wider line taken by Cancian. This will allow Brian Holmes an opportunity to attack maybe into Quebec, but he doesn't want to have a chance at the French-Canadian speaking corner. But Iru Nom starting to drop off maybe ever so slightly, and he's got Dries Knives, he's got Anwar Burrell-Smith, he's got Jason Cooper. All of this train is going to start checking itself up soon. Trains this big don't normally last forever.
No, and you wouldn't expect him to last forever here at this track. Not one to think of this as a bit of a train race here. Something's going to sort itself out here in the middle real soon, Jake. More likely it'll probably be somebody making a mistake.
I didn't know that we were at Talladega or Daytona. Train races, not often that we see them. So Cancian, again, under a bit of pressure here. Brian Holmes closing that gap. Moves to the outside, though, to make the move. That's crucial because he'll have the inside for turn number 9 as they head towards 8 down the Mario Andretti straightaway. So, outside line, trying to attack it here is Brian Holmes as he gets a little bit washed out there outside of the groove and back to the inside. He's unable to make the move there on Sonny Cancian. So the Australian holds on to position for now. Nom in 3rd, nice in 4th. Anwar Burrell-Smith currently in position number 5. Battle going on, though, a lot further down the field. Nick Thyssen, Trip Smith, Neil Bamber. And Trip Smith may not be the quickest, Sean, but he is certainly one of the cleanest.
Indeed, Jake, and Tripp was lucky to avoid all that carnage back there and still has a good run going here. Many of those drivers find themselves in the pit or just back out on track and suffering because of it. But Tripp is off to a great start here today.
He is off to a great start. It's worth noting that there's no fast repairs in this series, Sean. So if you break it, you bought it. And that's the big worry when you get into an incident, especially with a train of 13 at the front as the Bay State Hammer, Tom Ratchey, having a scrap with Marco Derricks in the middle of this pack. You know that the moment that something happens, you are very likely to get caught up in an incident. You almost have to go Days of Thunder straight through the middle.
Yes. Just nail it. Just go right to the middle and nail it.
In the words of Daniel Ricciardo, you just need a postage stamp and you just need to send it. That much you can definitely say. Side by side for the lead. Once again, Brian Holmes goes to the outside of Sonny Cancian. Looks to get himself more alongside. Now has the nose ahead through turn number 8, but Cancian's going to have the advantage then when it comes to the inside. Holmes looking to try and stick a nose down the inside at 9, but thinks better of it once again. Cancian pushes a little bit wide, though. That's going to try and compromise the run then through turn number 10, the final corner. And we all remember that NASCAR truck race that happened inside line for turn number 1. I think behind in position number 3 as well, Dries Nice was looking to try and find a way through on the rolling Estonian Iru Nom. But Brian Holmes, almost elementary there, as wide goes Sonny Kanchan through 1, inside for 2. He's searching, but he can't find it.
Still 13 strong, Jake, this front pack. Adam McNally holding it down here at the back. None of them have run off into Clayton yet. They made another trip through there pretty clean.
They certainly have done, and I have to say, this is a series with some of the best driving standards you will see in the world. Not from that first instant you saw at the back of the pack, but at the front. I don't know many series that could get 13 vehicles, doesn't matter what sort of vehicle, all in a train like this close together and scrapping it out. Gene Fiddis, the Gene Genie, had to think about going down the inside of Travis Schwenke there, and Schwenke wasn't having any of it. Now that compromises Gene Fiddis here, opens the door for Steven Van Opstal, who is starting to make moves. This one for position number 8 and some more vital points in the championship battle with Anwar Barral-Smith.
Yeah, there was a bit of a checkup down there in Moss, and I thought it was going to be big trouble. It broke the train up just a little bit. It was Marco Derricks that had to get on the hammer there and slow things down, and now he's right there on the bumper of Opstal.
Trying, not finding. So Van Opstal holding off Marco Derricks and holding off Marco Derricks. Very accomplished. Now, there is one pit stop when it comes to this series, and that pit stop window, you're sort of hoping to see that open at about 1/3's distance in this event. So you're looking at maybe lap 13, maybe even lap 12. You could see drivers thinking about making that stop. If you're in this massive train, you know that you've got to make positions, and you're feeling like you're being held up here, Sean. Would you go for the early stop if you're, say, about 6th, 7th in line?
I really might consider it, Jake. The key, of course, making a pristine pit stop and getting in and out of there clean, not losing any time. But if I'm in the middle of the pack, I'm certainly thinking about it.
Certainly thinking about it. Someone else in, I think, is the second pack battle. Bas Schlob, Stefan Overgaard, Jert Willemsen, all in a scrap. And to the outside of turn number 4, Bas Schlob has a mini look. You don't normally see moves through 4 and up into 5. Normally in faster machines, when there's mistakes, that you get to see that happen. But again, another chance then for Bas Schlob to think about this run, get it off of the exit, really apply some pressure as he moves forward, as we see side by side a little bit further in front. That's Sarah Dove, the Queen of Scots, looking to attack the Bay State Hammer, who is really looking to attack Marco Derricks. Those all stay in position, but this is a game of chess. You're always hoping, you're always waiting for the right move. And again, it seems that it's Groundhog Day for Brian Holmes at the front of the field. Sorry to jump away like this. He's just shut the nose on Sonny Kanchan and made the move for the lead. Replay on screen. Sean, take us through it.
Well, Sonny right down there on the bottom. Jake, boy, it almost looked like a wild trip right there. Almost lost the car. He's going to get out here to the right. And that's the pass.
And around the outside of 8 there, Sean, into 9, and just throwing the block, and the door, the ironclad door, was firmly sealed shut, and there's not much more you can do in a situation like that. Now, this is the interesting battle between them, because being at the front of this massive train, fuel saving becomes the game that people play. Someone like Brian Holmes, who runs incredibly wide there through Moss, he was so aggressive trying to break away. He's now going to have to be thinking, okay, I'm at the front of this pack, I want to push this pack, but at the same time, I've got to save my fuel. And Kanchan thinking about making the move back again, the same move that happened just 1 lap prior.
A big incident for one of the cars at the back there, Jake. Teddy Clark just had a moment, a big off, and destroyed his car.
And that's a shame for Teddy Clark, who was involved in the early incident. So that will mean that day is equal to done. And that's a shame for Teddy Clark. I like seeing him race. I like seeing him look and push a little bit further forward. At the back of this 13-car train now, Adam McNally attacking Sarah Dove. Now, it's not often that we see women in sim racing, Sean, but I am all for it, because Sarah Dove, it's not often you see her towards the front of a train like this, but she today has a really good chance to get some really nice points on the board.
Yeah, so far so good. Car going in the right direction. She's gained a spot. Primed to get into the top 10 here, possibly.
definitely.
I like her chances here today.
I like her chances as well. And you talk about famous women in sim racing. You talk about the likes of Emily Jones, Mary Rushka, Rebecca Pauline, and of course Rachel Whiteford as well, who pioneer the way for women in sim racing. Battle low P3, P4, Dries Nice versus Iru Nom. Dries Nice has a habit of turning up in races, Sean, that have a big pack train. He was so good last season at Phillip Island. He's been so good this season. When it came to Virginia, he was up there scrapping for the victory. Now Dries Nice has an opportunity to prove it again. He loves the tracks where draft is an availability, as Kanchin goes to the move for the lead once again.
Well, Dries taking care of the car here. I don't see a scratch on it here to start. He certainly has himself positioned well right here behind the leaders in Iro Noom. Gotta watch out those Barrow Smith making a run at him here.
And was thinking about it, but Sonny Kanchin's through. He pushes wide and up and under, looking to try and pick the pocket there. Is Brian Holmes. He gets stuck on the outside of 10. His pocket gets picked, and he loses the position for now, but now cutting back into the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ellie takers onto the lane at the end of lap 10. Max Wright coming out of pit road. That is it, and nothing more than that. So this train really has not moved. Train of 13. It stays then at the front. Let's go backwards then. No changes in the group between Willemsen, Slob, and Overgaard as they look to continue to push on their merry ways. But small little battles starting to form. Shepherds versus Smith versus Vita. They're within a few seconds of each other here, Sean.
Few seconds. I'll tell you what, Boslav has been at the lead of that pack for a while, and I think he's laying off just a bit. Maybe taking a break here. And honestly, it's been kind of a battle back and forth between Overgaard and Slob, and the one really taking the break has been Shoop Willemsen, as he's been then a mistake in the Moss.
And yep, and there's the Workiva kinetic machine running offline. So Stefan Overgaard, I'm sorry to say this, Sean, but that is curse 1, driving 0.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, apologies taken. You can apologise to Stefan after the race. Brian Holmes, though, the pressure still mounting on Sonny Kanchin. Still thinking about this one, driving this very astute race after 16 minutes and one taker into the lane. He loves pitting in early, does the Bay State Hammer, Tom Ratji. It's his strategy. He loves taking it, Sean. End of lap 11, 18 laps on a tank of fuel to get it to home.
Yeah, the first one from the 13 to step out of line there. Oh, and trouble for McNally here at the back. Sarah Dove going to try and get around him.
Oh, and hold it, round the outside. Sarah, Queen of Scots, says off with his head as she makes the move, sorry. And I tell you what, that battling has pretty much dropped them off of the train with Marco Derricks. That much would not help, Sean, because of the hole left by the pitting Bay State Hammer.
Correct, exactly, and going to need to work hard here down in the Moss to try and correct that.
Oh, and correct it. Almost a mistake for Brian Holmes. He gets out of line. Through goes Iru Nom. He almost took the rear out of Sonny Kanchin. Had to get on the brakes. And there's 2 positions gone because there goes through, I believe, the driver, Dries Nice. Here comes Anwar Burrell-Smith, the leading amateur in the field right now. Not in terms of the championship. Looking for the move. In front of that, though, side by side, as Dries Nice looks to battle it out with Iru Nom. Thinking about 3 wide here as they go on through. But not, says Sonny Kanchin, as around the outside, Dries Nice will look to try. Around the outside, Dries Nice will stay. And then he suddenly has to play defense then from the driver behind. And there's a checkup behind that one as well. Schwenke's diving in. Asbury making 2 early stops.
Wow. Gene Fittis all over Van Opstel's bumper there when they came out of whites. Almost gave him a push down the front straight. Oh, Van Opstel on the top of the curb there. Almost lost the car. Great job of catching it.
Yes, but they are losing time to Jason Cooper as the train becomes a train of 6 at the front of the field. So you can see Asbury's breaking this race up little by little. Sarah Dove is trying to get the bridge to the divide in this main second pack now to get to Marco Derricks, to get to Gene Fittis in the Progression Racing Australia machine, to get to Stephen Van Opstal in the Pokemon Go machine. And you're looking to see those pushes. You're looking to see, can I attack? Can I hold things together? They're not battling hard, though, at the front of the field. Not hard enough, I don't feel, for this train to really close back up. But Van Opstal will have the draft all the way down the Mario Andretti straight. He will try everything in his power to get onto the rear of Jason Cooper.
Sarah Dove's done a good job of getting back to the pack, Jake. We talked about how she had lost a bit of that back there with the pass on McNally. Oh, here we go. Battle for second.
Which turns into third, and the door turned almost. Hold it together. They all check up. Madness ensues as Anwar Barral-Smith had to slow. They all slow, and suddenly it creates a massive divide. It's a battle of two, and the decision to pit early has favoured two Asbury Motorsport machines. That is one Bay State Hammer. That is also one Dory Travis Schwenke. So that is going to mean it is a straight-up dogfight at the moment. Irunom versus Sonny Kanchin, and that is exactly what Irunom, the championship leader, wanted to see, as there was contact between the two drivers, Dries Nice and also Brian Holmes. You can see, Sean, just how much Brian Holmes has lost out in all of this. He's right at the back of this melee, this fracas that we're seeing, which is now Van Opstal backing out with Anwar Barral-Smith.
Yeah, and these two side by side now, coming down into Moss, and going to get a little separation there as Van Opstal gets ahead.
Yeah, Van Opstal getting ahead, making the move, or getting just behind, actually, Anwar Barral-Smith. Yeah. This is a crucial battle, though. This is the amateur category that you look at here. These two are at the top of that division, and Anwar Barral-Smith, arguably the quicker of the two. Stephen Van Opstal doing well behind that. Gene Fiddish, Jason Cooper side by side, and Cooper will be a very unlucky man getting caught up in all of that incident.
Well, here comes Cooper. He's up alongside Fiddish, going to get in front of him here, down into the S's.
And easy as you like, makes that one stick, so... Position gains, Mr. Cooper, as he gets past Gene Fiddish, as Fiddish angles into pit road, looks to make that stop. Aggressive line taken. The cones, the yellow cones that signal that, they are very, very late in terms of that. Side by side, though, a little further forward, Adam McNally, Youth Energy Machine, against Marco Derricks, looking for the inside, and the Toon side being represented by Adam McNally from Newcastle, born and bred, unable to make that move. So, has to sit in line, has to wait. And now Newcastle versus Scotland, as Sarah Dove waits behind.
Well, and that was McNally getting back by Sarah Dove. She had passed him a few laps ago. But Derricks now in a really, really big fight here to try and not give up this position to McNally before they set up for the pit stop. I'd say that window's wide open right now, Jake.
Yes, and what's very crucial is that Gene Fiddish has come out in the middle of Schwenke, Bamber, and then the Bay State Hammer, Tom Ratchey. Ratchey has lost a lot of time when it's come to his decision to go on the lane. Travis Schwenke with a much more astute pit stop, and arguably, I'd say he's got 7 seconds right now, does Schwenke.
Yeah, and Schwenke would be the car we're watching right now. He was the first one. Well, he's out of all the cars that have taken a pit stop, he is in the lead of them, and so we'll use him as the benchmark right now. He's got to take care of himself down here in Moss, though. Always an adventure in Moss. Probably one of my least favorite sections of a track in any track.
Yes, a lot of drivers do not like Moss Corner, mainly because it's such a massive challenge. No takers on the lane this time. Lap 15 of 29, the halfway distance score complete then. Sonny Kanchin leads the gap 0.3 of a second to Irunom in second position, with Dries Nice in position number 3. Behind that, Anwar Barral-Smith, Stephen Van Opstal, Jason Cooper, Marco Derricks, and Adam McNally make your top 8 for now, but we are in the middle of a pit stop cycle. But you look at those drivers just a little bit further behind all of this. Jurt Willemsen versus Bas Schlob. We've seen Neil Bamber fall backwards, shall we say, but now it's Schlob versus Willemsen. And I think right now, Jurt Willemsen does not want to be at the front of this train because he wants Bas Schlob to do all the work so he can take the credit at the end.
I think you might be right there. It's been a bit of monkey see, monkey do, and follow along here. Now, Slob does have a little bit of damage on the rear end of his car. That certainly could be a mistake there in Moss by Willemsen, and he's going all the way around.
Uh-oh, and that's my curse one.
Yep.
drivers nil. So we're 2 for 2 as things stand. We're having a great day as Gert Willemsen falls now miles behind Bas Slob in the middle of himself and Nick Dissen as well. Noah's Ark too wide, too deep, just in front for a moment as now Adam McNally attacks Marco Derricks on the outside, turns to the inside for the next left-hander, gets down the inside, looking to force things to work. Jason Cooper angles down in onto the lane as side-by-side it stays through White's corner. Between the two drivers there, Derricks then falling back, slight mistake on the exit. This allows Sarah Dove, the Queen of Scots, to go to the outside to look to make the move. Has the inside for Clayton's corner, which is the most important corner, I'd argue, on this circuit. She takes the move, she takes the position. Marco Derricks angled out 2 positions.
Great move by Sarah Dove. Just got to hang on to it here and keep digging.
Oh, and look at this. Derricks is going to come straight back here at Quebec. Hello, bienvenue, and everything else in between. That's a great move.
Yeah, it was. Real smooth. It allows him to go attack there on McNally. Brian Holmes. I was going to say Brian Holmes really active here too, Jake.
Yep, he certainly has been, but I think he's playing the waiting game, sitting and waiting, almost contact there between Derricks and McNally, and there's the second part. Derricks turns the man, and Adam McNally gets forced into the wall, second in the amateur category championship. Replay on screen, and that was trying to push a little bit too hard, Mr. Derricks, I would have thought.
Yeah, I don't know that he had a whole lot of choice. It was tough. They were both coming through there at the same time, and it's a little bit of a baby bump and run there just a bit. He saved it the first time, but not the second. That's too bad.
Sorry, going to cut you off. Both leaders in. So Kanchan and Nom at the same time. Dries Nice follows. So does Van Opstal. So does Brian Holmes, but staying out. Sarah Dove. Also Anwar Barral Smith staying out on circuit. So a lot of leaders coming in then, looking to serve that one and only pit stop that's there. Nom looking to be aggressive when it comes to that line, and they are practically even. Kanchan and Nom hitting their box. But as we know, Sonny Kanchan loves being the man to get out of pit road the quickest as the tyres go on the car of what is Sonny Kanchan. Looking for that fuel number, looking to get going, and out and away. Kanchan goes. Iru Nom, not much time to work with though, as around goes Derek Holland. Where is Travis Schwenke in all of this? The answer is position number 3 net on the road, because he's past Brian Holmes, he's past Stephen Van Opstal. Dries Nice has had a shocker. Here comes Cooper and Bamber though coming together, and this is going to cause a little bit of a melee into Clayton's corner, because here they go side by side. Van Opstal stuck on the outside, and Opstal is going to go straight on.
That's trouble. A lot of time lost there trying to get the car back on track.
And is behind a Bay State hammer, a Tom Ratji. A not ideal situation as Stephen Van Opstal then drops a multitude of positions behind Neil Bamber, behind Dries Nice. That was not ideal, not by any stretch of the imagination. Now the next question is, Dove and Derricks and the likes of Barral Smith, how good are their stops going to be on lap 18 of 29? They've pushed the fuel as long as I probably think they could, as diving down onto the lane, in comes 1, in comes 2, in comes 3. Your leading 3 as things stands. They all hit the lane as Anwar Barral Smith arguably has to have a good chance of this now. He probably would have got notification that the driver of Stephen Van Opstal has gone off the circuit and now just needs to push harder than anybody else to gain some more points in the amateur category right now. Derrick's in, Dove in. You look at where Sonny Kanchan is, heading through the final corner, has himself 9/10 of a second there or thereabouts to Iru Nom as they cross the stripe, and that much is 1.1 actually, so I'm slightly off. Out comes Sarah Dove. She's gone shorter than anybody else on the fuel. She's gone for the short field strategy. Barral Smith completely beaten in terms of that one, but that puts her out in position number 5 behind Gene Fiddis, behind Travis Schwenke. Great stop from Sarah Dove.
Yeah, an amazing stop. Only 11.3 seconds in the box. Odd that Bas Slob and Gert Willemsen have both elected to stay out for one more lap, Jake. So right now, Bas Slob, your leader for the first time today, and Gert Willemsen back about 6.5 seconds behind him.
Yep, so Bas Slob has done very well on that fuel save. Managed to work that better than anybody else. 155, 160 kilometers an hour now down this straight, and it continues. 165 kilometers an hour, looking to try and find the magic breaking point, 175. It keeps climbing here at the circuit of Mosport here on the Global SimRacing Channel on iRacing Live. Right-hander then, turn number 8, looking for turn number 9, and I don't think Bashlob can go any further than this. The lane would probably be a wise ploy at this point, and it is, because down onto the lane goes Bashlob, and pretty much on cue, I think Gert Willemsen's going to join him here. No! Gert Willemsen stays out. This is 20 laps on a tank of fuel. Gert Willemsen has something that nobody else has.
Not sure why, but Derek Holland really slow on the course right now in the S's as Steven Van Afstel goes by, and so does Tom Rathje, but that wasn't the only group he let through. I don't see any significant damage on the car, but something seems to be amiss there with Holland.
Well, damage on the front maybe we are seeing, and there is a lot of damage actually on the front there. The bonnet may be turned up, and the Grim Reaper on the front of that bonnet looks like it is calling for Derek Holland's machine. That much I can certainly say at this point, but that's going to mean he's 1 lap down and pretty much out of it. So let's just set the board then once Gert Willemsen pits. Kanchin will lead this one. Irunom in second position. The gap between them 1 second and slightly less. Travis Schwenke, Gene Fiddis, they will fight it out for the podium as things stand, with Anwar Barral-Smith versus Brian Holmes, Sarah Dove there, Jason Cooper, and Dries Nice all in a pack. The next pack is Steven Van Opstal and the Bay State Hammer Tom Ratje. So that's your main packs. That's what we're looking at. Let's look at Brian Holmes in the 58, though. He's got the chance to make the move on Anwar Barral-Smith. Looks to the outside of the Youth Energy machine here, Sean. Thinking about making that move, but he gets alongside and he goes, no, I don't have quite enough.
Not enough. No, not enough to pull out now. Set it up. Save it for later. You still got, what, about 9 laps to go here. Doesn't have to be right this second.
And down onto the lane is Joop de Luc Willemsen. So Willemsen, in a 955 machine, looks to hit his box, looks to take his fuel, and will look to come back out after this stop. So Willemsen waiting. And there's a fastest lap as well for Iru Nom. He goes purple, 1:31.1. Hello. Iru Nom has decided, right, gloves off now, we're racing, Sonny.
Welcome to the party. Where have you been?
Where have you been? The gap's down to 0.7 of a second. Nom is using that draft, and he is using it vitally to his advantage. And this is going to be crucial, though, towards the end. Kanchin was a second quicker when it came to the stop, but Iru Nom is using the draft, pulling himself back in, and Sonny Kanchin arguably may have to save a little bit of fuel, but he has one of the smoothest driving styles, which has some of the least fuel consumption per lap out of anybody in this field.
All right, let's tell you what, let's real quick, why don't we start to go to our Trips backmarker shout out here real quick.
Here.
We'll start with Robert Witt, right now currently running in the top 20, there in 20th spot. And then we'll go to Joe McDonald. Joe probably not having as good a race as he would like to have today, but the California driver hanging out there in 19th. And then we'll go to Trip Smith there in 18th. Now, here's the good news for Trip. He's picked up 10 spots today, Jake, and sits there in 18th currently. So now altogether, not a bad day. He's passed a lot of cars. Then we'll go to Neil Bamber here in 17th. Lots of damage on that car on the 71. Trying to do his best to just finish this race here at this point.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to Nick Thisson. There he sits now in 16th, only down a spot from where he started. And then we'll finish with Joop Willemsen, who, well, has had some trouble himself, but is still fighting here. I don't know if he's going to have a chance to catch Marco Derricks, but Derricks has some trouble with his car as well, so maybe that position could be his here.
A mistake for Sarah Dove has cost her. She's lost a position then to Dries Nice. That one for position number 8 on track. Now Sarah Dove is only +4 for the day. Dries Nice currently classed as -2 in terms of his position. So that much we could definitely say. Door looking very close. Iru Nom almost there on Sonny Kanchan. Behind that, though, the Genies just made the move on Travis Schwenke. That one for the final spot on the podium. So Schwenke right now in his own little scrap. They'll both be looking to try and pick up the scraps if something happens between Kanchan and Nom here, Sean.
Jake, just fifth place, just changed there. In fact, Brian Holmes gets dropped by Burrell Smith. Those two continue to go at it. They've been doing this for most of the race. It was further back a little while ago, but they've positioned themselves well there after the pit stops and have got a pretty spirited battle here for fifth. I don't know who's going to... Well, and geez, Brian Holmes having some connection issues too here at the moment. That can't be any good.
It must be a big worry then for Anwar Burrell Smith as the technical difficulties arise slightly for Brian Holmes as he looks to push and attack, but to the front of the field, Iru Nom versus Sonny Kanchan, and for the last year or so, it's been Sonny Kanchan's show, and Iru Nom has had to play second fiddle, and I'm not sure how much the Estonian likes being second when it comes to races like these. Gets tucked in right underneath the slipstream, lap 23 of 29. When they cross the line, they will have themselves 6 laps to go at Mosport, just a smidgen under what is going to be 24 kilometers of action, but so side by side they go. Nom on the outside, looking to try and probe for information here, but unable to hold that line on the outside, looking to go for the up and under, looking to set up a second up and under when they come to turn 9. And when they come to whites of turn number 10, it's going to be a half-hearted attempt there from Iru Nom. He never had the room to make it stick.
Jacob. Boy, Kanchan really exploring the limits of the track there. I'm keeping an eye on the battle behind them and Fittis and Schwenke. I just keep thinking that something's going to erupt here between these two, Jake. Schwenke looks primed to try and overtake.
Schwenke certainly does, but the big difference is they're running mid to late 131s, which is dropping them slowly away from Kanchan and Nom. And you look at that group behind of Burrell Smith, Holmes and Cooper. If they started working together here, they could close down that gap of 3 seconds in no time at all. I think Travis Schwenke knows that. He wants to make sure, Sean, surely, that it should be just a battle between one vehicle for third, not 5 vehicles for third.
Yes. Yeah, well, we could wind up with that. There's still about 5.5 laps to get that done. Boy, Fittis really was slow through Moss there. Here comes Schwenke. Gets a good exit. I think he's got the power this time.
I think he certainly does. And Gene Fittis, there's the bump given. So maybe a bit of bump draft going on there. As Travis Schwenke says, no, I'm not going to go through, but I'm going to sit and wait on you and wait for you to get even quicker. So Gene Fittis, Progression Racing, got a little bit of friendly cooperation at the moment, but no much more. The battle at the front then. Sonny Kanchan still under pressure from Iru Nom, unable to make that move. And I just have to wonder how long he has to wait. And I wonder if he's waiting for the final lap. The gap across the line, less than 0.2 of a second.
Well, there's that third pack. The battle for fifth is still happening back there. Holmes able to take the spot back. He's back to 5th place. Gets around on one Burrell Smith there.
And you have to wonder here, and something's happened to Sarah Dove, as we cut away. So Sarah Dove has run into a few issues. She's down, and that's a splash and dash. So on the lane, splash and dash. Couldn't make it home, could Sarah Dove, and that's crucial there, Sean.
She just missed it on that fuel calculation. That's a shame.
Sometimes it has to be a shame, but that's why you get the numbers right. And if you get the numbers wrong, well, there's only one person you can blame, and that is yourself. So, Sarah Dove leaving only herself to blame as Travis Schwenke runs very wide coming out of Moss. There is no incident limit as such, but there is the miles per incident chart. And Sean, that's going to allow points come the end of the season for cleaner drivers. Kanchan and Nom side by side once again then as they make the run towards turn number 8. Nom on the outside has half a vehicle of overlap. That changes. Half a vehicle of overlap now comes into the line of Sonny Kanchan. Back to the inside again, tries Iru Nom. He's going to run out of road here. Inside line again for Sonny Kanchan. And the up and under attempt not forthcoming. Wide line taken. Big mistake from Sonny Kanchan there. He has to try and gather it all up, and he just about manages it.
Man needs to giving us a good battle to watch. And there have been several of them throughout the field, but this one's for the lead, man. Sonny and Aero here, both at their best today here at Mosport.
A little under 4 laps to go. Just 16 kilometers between those two and a shot. Let's look further back, though. The Bay State Hammer Tom Ratji versus Stephen Van Opstal. This for the top 10. Remember, there's mistakes that come along sometimes. And the second time today, Van Opstal drops it then at Clayton's corner. And that's going to bring him back into line with Bas Lob and Stefan Overgaard in the Workiva Kinetic Machine. That is Van Opstal throwing a shot away at ninth place and almost throwing away points in terms of his battle with Anwar Baral-Smith.
Yeah, might be in the process of throwing away a top 10 finish in addition to that, because Slob and Overgaard are coming. They've got the pace to catch him, and try not to overdrive it there down in Moss. Slob going to get away pretty clean there.
And back to Iru Nom, side by side they go once again. 4 laps to go. This is going to be the place you're probably going to see the move happen on the final lap. So Sonny Kanchin holding station for now. Iru Nom's probing for information right now, Sean. There's no guarantee he can make this move, but he's seeing, okay, how does Sonny defend if I go to the outside, okay? How does he defend if I go all the way to the outside? He's trying to find information so he can use the best strategy on the last lap.
Yeah, you sit there and you learn. You take those mental notes like you were just talking about, Jake, and then you make that move. Now, you don't want to make it too soon. Just like in super speedway racing, cup style, you don't want to make the move too soon. You want to try and time it exactly at the right time. And I know that's being Mr. Obvious, but that's what Aero is working on here right now. He's been around long enough to know exactly how he's got to pull this off.
Very quickly, we'll go back to this battle for P18 here, Sean, because Trip Yarrow Smith and Joe McDonald are in a scrap.
Yeah, they're having a little bit of fun here, trying to make the most out of what's left of this race right now, but Joe McDonald, a lot of damage on the rear end of the car. He's going to come around here, up the Andretti straight, get to the inside. He'll take the position, but can he hold on to it through the S's? That'll be the question.
E and Z. But there's no question needed there. That was a firm answer from the driver of Joe McDonald, comfortably making that move. As just heading onto that straight is the drivers of Nom and Kanchin. Robert Vita is just in front of them as well. I'm not sure they're going to catch. 2 to go at the line then. Nom still waiting in the wings as Schwenke gets himself defending from Gene Fiddis then for position number 4 as well. 3 scraps all going on inside the top 10. You can't ask for much more when MWT rolls into town.
Well, the lead of the race is basically all we have left to concern ourselves with here over these next couple laps. When does he make the move here, Jake?
Last lap, final few corners. If he can stay within touching distance of making a move, the gap's slightly opened to 0.4 of a second. I wonder if Iru Nom has used maybe a little bit too much of the tyres. Maybe he's just been thrown out of rhythm a little bit, the way that he's been trying to attack. Or maybe it's just the fact that Sonny Kanchin has been very, very strong when he's come out and made his laps. 31 2s, 31 3s, and when the tyres have started to go away a bit, he's now finding more time. He's gone from, in the last 3 laps, from a 32.1 to a 31.5, so that's 0.6 of a second quicker. He is testing the driver of Iru Nom. They've gone slower, but now they're going quicker again. Now they're pushing. Now there's a big worry here in the battle behind for 3rd position right now. Travis Schwenke, Gene Fiddis, because Holmes is catching, Baral-Smith is catching, and they're within 1.4 seconds, and they could start making moves. This is the battle for 3rd then. Travis Schwenke on the inside, the outside for the Gene Fiddis, and the lead battle going on as well, because Iru Nom's searching for the outside, and that's not going to work either. The white flag will fly at Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada, because we've got one final lap to go. It's Nom versus Kanchin for all the marbles, all the cookies in the jar, but let's not forget that battle 3rd through 7th right now, which is all going to heat up as well. So Sonny Kanchin holding that advantage through 1 into turn number 2 then of Clayton's corner. There is a bit of traffic in front, but I'm not sure that's going to play a factor into the finish of this event. But look at how Kanchin is just so much more aggressive when it comes to turn number 2. Sets the line up beautifully for Quebec in turn number 3. And I wonder if Iru Nom is close enough to go make that move. Behind in the second pack, though, Brian Holmes and Anwar Baral Smith, they're desperately trying to get to Schwenke and Finnis, but I think they're going to run out of time as things stand as those drivers head towards turn number 4 on circuit and then to Moss. So we'll flash back to leaders who just come out of Moss corner, look to make them run on the Mario Andretti straight, and now Irunom, it's do or die. This is your last chance to go and make that move, and closes that gap within 0.2 of a second, closes that gap within 1/10 of a second, and thinking, can I push myself to the inside? And no, says the driver of Sunny Catchin, you got to do it the hard way, you got to do it the long way round, and this is the toughest move that Irunom's going to have to take. He's going to have to really push on this one then. Outside will have to turn to the inside, he's going to have to make it late, and he's going to run out of road. Irunom's going to run out of road. That's going to be Sunny Catchin doing everything possible to hold it side by side for third as well. Catchin back to victory road. Irunom in second. The battle for the podium. The Genie down the inside. Hold it around the outside. Drag race to the line. And it's going to be Schwenke making it 2 Asbury machines on the podium. Great battle between them. Anwar Baral Smith, perfect amateur drive to 5th.
Schwenke taking that just there at the last moment across the line. Wow. He'd been trying to set that up for about 5 laps.
And he just about managed it. Take a bow, Travis Schwenke. Bashlob and Sarah Dove then making the drive to the line. Sarah Dove, not close enough. The fuel strategy certainly not worth it then in terms of trying to short fill. A fantastic race. We're going to step aside very briefly, though, for one moment. When we come back, post-race coverage here and the SimSport News wrap-up on this, the Global SimRacing Channel, Heusinkveld MX-5 World Tour, Round 5, here from Mosport. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the SimSport News Wrap-Up. SimSport News is one of the first dedicated sim racing news websites that covers all broadcasted series on iRacing. Ran by Jacob Toffs and Gianni Quintelier, SimSport News race team competes on many official iRacing series, as well as the one you've been watching. For more information, go to simsportnews.com. And with a crazy race in the books at the circuit of what is Mosport, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, the official classified results come in as follows. Sonny Kanchin is back on top where he belongs. He takes the victory 0.3 of a second clear of Iru Nom. He played the game to perfection. Travis Schwenke finishes home in third, a drag race with the Gene Genie. Gene finished in fourth with Anwar Barral Smith, the leading amateur, in fifth position. Brian Holmes had a lot to say about the incident he caused earlier on, which completely shuffled the complexity of the battle for the race win in sixth, with Jason Cooper 7th, Dries Nice in 8th place, with the Bay State Hammer pitting early, coming home 9th, and it's Workiva Kinetics Stefan Overgaard that finishes in the top 10.
All right, and let's slip down to 11th, and that's going to be Steven Van Ospel there with a good run, and Marco Derek's going to finish 12th today. Nick Thyssen, 13th. Gilles Willemsen, 14th. Vaslav, 15th. Provided us with a good battles today from them. Sarah Dove winded up 16th. She was really having a great run, and then made a miscalculation on fuel. 16th will be as good as it gets. Neil Bamber, 17th. Joe McDonald, 18th. Trip Smith, 19th. And Robert Witt, 20th.
And then you're looking down, vehicles a lap down or further. Derek Holland 21st, with Max Wright and Adam McNally failing to finish. So it could be said for Arjen Shepherd, Jeroen Ursum, Teddy Clark, Bjorn DeForge, and the Sheriff, Jordi Fight. So there's 28 vehicles with only 21 finishers of the race. But what we do have is a rolling Estonian joining us from position number 2, Eero. It wasn't close enough in the end. You had the opportunity. You brought it back to within a second. Did he just defend too well?
Yeah, maybe. And he had a better run off there and maybe a better task. But I couldn't take any risk, because if I'd get any contact with him, I would get penalty and had to start on the pits next race. So it's really hard to race really close. And we can get some coast crashes with Sony, so I had to keep some distance.
Well, you're always close. You're always looking for the opportunities, but it didn't quite happen for you. But do you feel that you had a better shot of winning due to the fact that the incident with Brian Holmes behind you gave yourself a bit of fresh air to focus and concentrate on the victory?
Yeah, definitely. It was a very good chance to win, but the last lap, Johnny got some traffic too from the back markers. So, but yeah, Sony was just better than me, no question.
And then from one circuit with similar properties to another with very similar properties, we head back over the border to Mid-Ohio in 1 week's time. So a back-to-back series race. Mid-Ohio, very similar in terms of the way it looks, in terms of the strategy that you employ. Do you feel you were there with a really good opportunity today to take a lot of skills away from Mosport to go to Mid-Ohio?
Yeah, maybe. I think I won the last 2 races in Mid-Ohio, so maybe I will practice more, because I didn't practice much only today, so let's see.
Well, the opportunity's there, and the spotlight is yours. Shout out sponsors. Who gets it done for you?
Yeah, thanks for my team and for you guys for broadcasting.
No worries at all. Iru Nom from Team Bushfink Racing, position number 2 today. Sean, I believe you found a man who has been turned around and had himself not quite an elementary day.
No, it was a bit of a hustle out there for Brian Holmes today. But Brian, you come home P6. I guess walk us through about the adventure that was Mosport today.
That was a crazy race. I need to apologise to Dries for the slight contact. It was a bit of a neck cord on my side, I think. But yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, it was. It seemed like at times it was really hard to hang on to the car. Were the track conditions an issue? The high temperature on the track, was that an issue? Or just all the rubber out there?
I think it's just the nature of this track. You're always on the limit with the MX-5, so you can lose the momentum anytime, and you're always literally on the verge of losing that back end on most of the corners. So you're just fighting it all the time.
And what about your strategy today as far as the pit stop and when you took and everything? I mean, did you pretty much have a number set when you were ready to come out?
I was going to pit with everybody else, but the incident dropping me back made me decide to drop in when a couple of the guys in front went. I was going to go another lap, but yeah, I got the fuel right, bang on, nearly went out just after the line. So,
well, good job doing that. Not everybody did get that fuel right, so great job with that. Hey, listen, not a horrible day in the points. You'll recover well from this, and next week we head off to Mid Ohio, and for a little bit more fun. You expect a better result there, I'm sure.
yes, I expect better than from what I've been doing this season. So yeah, time to get my ass in gear. Apologies.
All right, buddy. Anybody you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, just you guys and everybody that runs the league, everybody that takes part. Thank you.
All righty. That's Brian Holmes, folks. 6th place today. And now Jake going to catch up with a couple of teammates here, I thought.
Yes, I found a race winner. And I found a man who has finished in position number 3, Sonny Kanchan and Travis Schwenke from Asbury Motorsport. Sonny, I'll come to you first. Because you've been away for a few weeks. Let's not say anything about that. But you found yourself with a victory today. Back on top, back on form. Sonny Kanchan of old?
Well, I just got what I wanted back. Well, did you have any doubts?
Well, it wasn't doubts, but it certainly seemed in the early stages that you were playing a lot of, shall we say, switch swapping from yourself and Brian Holmes. You were looking for opportunities to go through. Do you feel that today, that in terms of your one-lap pace, you didn't have it, but in terms of your race pace, you felt really solid and on course again?
Yeah, what happened, Jake, was, I tried to play with Brian a bit. I mean, a bit of a psyche thing. I don't know. I just want to rattle his cage. It kind of worked out, I guess, but it didn't quite. But Iro was so patient, kind of knew that he wouldn't attempt in between and ruin everyone else's race or something like that. So he was just safeguarding his, but it worked out well. With the 1-lap pace, I actually messed up my qualifying on the first hot lap. Just drifted away farming somewhere else. So that's what caused me to give it my best shot in the second. But I was confident throughout the race as well. Like you said, I picked it up. And after the scrap with Brian, just kept my head down and waited for the pit stop.
Well, that was certainly very awesome. Travis, I'll come to you. And there's only 2 words that we can say. Last lap.
Yeah. I guess those are the 2 words, but the other words are I don't think either Gene and I wanted to lead. There a second there I thought we had a chance of catching the back end of Aero, and then each of us get out front, make a couple mistakes, and I knew the last lap I just had to push it. And the early practice that Sonny and I were doing side by side through there really paid off because I knew how far I could go, and what a great last lap for sure.
What a very great last lap indeed, Sonny. I know you've had a look at that, but. Travis, in terms of what Asbury's been doing here in this World Tour, you know, you've had that ability to really attack, be dominant, and really look to put 1, 2, sometimes even the whole team on the podium when Michele Pignan decides he wants to turn up and race, basically. But in terms of your next challenge, Mid-Ohio, week's time, very similar. Do you feel that Asbury Motorsports is going to put 2 on the podium once again? And do you feel that this is going to be another season of Sonny dominates the field?
Why not? Be great to do it. So Mid-Ohio is very technical. Actually, Tom is really good there. So I'd love to see all of us up there. Yeah, any day of the week.
So far, it's been Asbury dominating it, Jake.
Oh, yeah, Asbury will certainly look to get up there and get some points. But stage is all yours, boys.
Well, I was going to say thank you for my teammates and you guys, and thanks, Jake, for broadcast as well as everyone else. I haven't watched the broadcast as well as in the booth, but thanks, guys, for the great work that you do. And it's good to be back and good to be racing again. And everyone else who's watching this broadcast, especially big shout out and hugs to my sisters who for the first time knew. I just sent her a link to broadcast, and she's been watching from Finland. So big hi to her. So she's very happy. Thanks again. I'll catch you guys next time. Hopefully, I will be in this good form and give it to Euro.
No worries at all there. Sonny Kanch and Travis Schwenke joining us there. Sean, you do know that you can go into a shop in Finland and ask for a sim racer, and you probably get a pretty quick one as well as that. But you found yourself with a certain youth energy driver called Anwar Burrell-Smith.
Yes, Anwar, a great race, great battle with Brian Holmes there over the last, basically the whole last segment of the race. Was it as much fun on your end as it was for us to watch?
Yeah, it really was actually. We weren't battling as much as we were trying to work together to try and catch up with Gene and Travis, which we were doing. So we were just sort of trading draft on that back straight every lap, just pulling ourselves closer and closer. But once we realised with 2 laps to go we weren't going to catch them, that's when we pulled the pin and started fighting. But it was really good. I'm just disappointed again because I 2 races in a row now I've not really optimised my pit stop and I've lost a lot of time. And this time I got the fuel right and I got everything else right. It was just the pit entry. I was really, really tentative and lost about 3 or 4 seconds. So could have been maybe a podium, who knows? But still, it was good fun. And hopefully I can continue carrying the pace forward.
You know, it's crazy to think that when the talent level is so high as it is here in the series, that mere seconds in the pit stop would cost you that many positions. It just boggles my mind. It was a great drive. You certainly had what looked to be the pace and the pace and the wherewithal to get to the front. It's just everybody, once they get away, it's really, really tough to catch. Like you said, you and Brian working there at the end trying to make those spots up. How many more laps do you think you would have needed to catch them?
Oh, we would have only maybe needed two more laps, and we would have been right on the back of them. But it wasn't meant to be. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's crazy how tight the field is, and when you look at qualifying, just how close the times were. I mean, another half a tenth, and I would have been in third. So it's crazy. But that's why the pit stop's so important. I really need to spend some time maybe practicing that instead of just hot lapping all the time, because that's clearly my weak point. But no, you're right. The pace is there, and that's the main thing. And as long as I keep finishing ahead of the other AMs, so to speak, then I'm happy.
Well, congratulations on a good run today, and for entertaining us and the fans out there. You're looking forward to getting to Mid-Ohio.
Yes, I am really. Yeah. So the last 2 tracks I literally have bought the day before, so I know Mid-Ohio a little bit better. So hopefully that'll make it a bit easier to get up and running. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to the second half of the season.
All right. Well, hey, Anwar, thank you. We will catch you next time, hopefully next week on the podium.
Yeah, no, thanks, guys. Great job as always. Appreciate it.
All right, Jake, and I believe that finishes the interview segment of the show. Man, I'm stepping on my tongue again.
Yeah, and apologies to Sarah Dove, who had been patiently waiting. We just don't have enough time. We got so many great stories that come out of this event. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got time for here on the Global SimRacing Channel on iRacing Live. We'd like to thank everybody at the Quality Racing Sim-dicate for organising this series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Our thanks also have to go out to Heusinkveld. Affordable simulator software and hardware are thought to be of limited use for race teams and drivers, but their simulation solutions bring professional results within reach for any race team or driver without having to compromise on realism or engineering value. They offer a broad array of products and services, such as advanced vehicle simulation software and hardware. They're able to simulate any combination of race car and track, including a full-fledged cockpit environment with unparalleled realism. Heusinkveld solutions are currently being used by professional teams and drivers in Formula Ford, GP3, GP2, and Formula 1. Now, these products are available for any professional team or driver looking for an edge in racing. Be a better race car driver and get in touch today. Thanks also has to go out to Sim Sport News for the work that they do sponsoring the post-race show, as well as the company's equipment and software that you see on screen that we have used on our broadcast. And of course, the original music that you've heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen, how to contact each of them right now.
Okay, before all of you leave, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done it yet, okay? Right here on this YouTube channel. Jake, you went and made Sarah all upset. She didn't get interviewed today, and she blames it on you. The Heusinkveld MX5 World Tour returns for round 6 in 1 week, April 28th from Mid-Ohio. GSRC will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you join us then. Sliding across your screen now or some upcoming broadcasts, so check those out, mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, you can find it all on our website, globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on social media. Twitter, you can find us at GSR Channel. Facebook, just go over there, type in Global SimRacing Channel. And we're on the gram now, Instagram, yes. Find us there, GSRC_gram.
There you see all of that. And finally, on behalf of the man on my right, Sean